Hey, what's up friends? Grant Baldwin here. Welcome back to another speech breakdown here on the Speaker Lab channel. Hey, so today we have a kind of a different type of talk. This is from an awards acceptance speech that Will Ferrell delivered several years ago when he was receiving a Mark Twain Comedy Award. Now, what he does right out of the gate here is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. His interaction with his wife later in the talk is hilarious. He just does a lot of things that we can really learn and apply to humor and comedy that we do as speakers. So a lot to get to. Let's get right into it. Best part is right at the beginning here. Okay, there are so many things that make this work, all right? So first of all, it's Will Ferrell, all right? So he has some connection with the audience, and so they already assume that this is a funny guy who's gonna do funny things, and so this is just a natural thing that he might do. Another thing that he does well, or excuse me, just in the context of this is a comedy award show. So he just won some big award for a Mark Twain Comedy Award. And so it's natural context. If he was given like a lifetime achievement for like, you know, rescuing kittens from Afghanistan, it might be a bit of a more of a somber type of experience where he may not want to do something like this. Another thing that worked well is he let the applause build, he enjoyed the moment there, and then he dropped the award. So it wasn't something that, like, just the timing of it, he did really well. Another thing, he probably had the band involved, because if you notice, as soon as he dropped it, the band's music cut, right? So go back to that, like that creates, that moment there creates some humor. And then what he does from here of cleaning it up and pretending like nothing happened and acting like nothing happened, and like the long drawn out stuff where he doesn't have to say anything. The moment creates the humor, and him kind of interacting with this broken award, pretending like nothing happened, that creates the humor without him having to say anything. So again, watch the band here. When he drops it, their music cuts, and that helps create the humor. Now this is also probably something that he had to prepare for a little bit to make sure, okay, if I drop this, and he's certainly planning on doing that, if I drop this, is it going to shatter in too many pieces where it's not gonna be funny? Is it going to shatter at all? Or is if I drop it and it just bounces and like it's not affected, there's no ding on it, and then it's not really as funny. So that's one of those things, if you're gonna do something like this, you wanna make sure that you kind of almost test it ahead of time, but he probably talked to the event planner, whoever's in charge of this awards ceremony, to kind of walk through, hey, here's what I'm gonna do, here's how this is gonna play out, here's how I'm gonna respond, just to kind of like prep them so they're not like, oh my gosh, what just happened? You know, we give this guy an award and he dropped it and shattered it in front of everyone. So probably something that he kind of, definitely something he pre-planned, but something he probably talked to whoever's in charge of this event and cleared it with him first. So notice he doesn't say anything, just the moment is creating the humor.
Boy, okay. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much for that warm ovation. As I stare at this magnificent bust of Mark Twain, I'm reminded of how humbled I am to receive such an honor, and how I vow to take very special care of it. I will never let it out of my sight. I will find a place of honor in my house for this magnificent bust. If my children try to touch it or even look at it, I will beat them. It means that much to me. In fact, I told my wife that maybe I should buy it its own seat for the plane ride home. No, I'm not done. No, I just started the speech. Why would you think I'm done? I want to sincerely thank the Kennedy Center for this prize and the fine folks at
Now, he used the music there to make a segue and a transition into kind of a more serious note. So one, it was a good little piece of humor there. And so that's, again, one of those things that had to be pre-planned with the band. But then he uses that to come back in. I want to sincerely thank. So my guess is he's going to be serious and kind of transition away from, all right, I broke the bus. You can't do this is, I think, a 10-minute awards acceptance speech. You can't do 10 minutes still just riffing on the bus. Like, that just gets old after a while. So he did it for a couple minutes, and now he'll kind of transition into probably some more serious stuff. He'll probably refer back to it a time or two, but he uses the music as a transition to this is a bit of a more serious part.
PBS for airing this special. I am the 14th recipient of the Mark Twain Prize. And you're probably asking yourself, why did it take so long? Well, for 13 consecutive years, I have been begged by the Kennedy Center to accept this award. And for 13 consecutive years, I have emphatically said no. For years, I had many questions about this Mark Twain, the first being, who is he? It then dawned on me that since I was a small boy, I have thoroughly enjoyed his delicious fried chicken. And then my wife informed me that I was thinking of Colonel Sanders, not Mark Twain. It turns out that he is considered America's finest author and humorist, but that his real name is not Mark Twain. It was Jerry Goldman. Before that, it was Judy Blume. And before that, of course, we all know the name, Samuel Langhorne Chimmons. Despite my failings...
So whenever he is, I think it's Samuel Clemens, isn't it? So whenever he says, we all know that humor works well in threes. So he gives the wrong name. Okay, we all know the right name, and most people would know the right name, but he does like a little variation of it, a little spin on it. And again, that's the spin on it, and then having it happen in thirds is what creates the humor there.
Failings to grasp the importance of Mark Twain and what exactly he did, I decided to accept this award because of the prize money. $1 billion. Paid out over the next 10,000 years. To say that I am thrilled to be here is a complete understatement. And to make this evening even more thrilling, I have just been informed that I am only the 11th Caucasian to receive this prestigious award. Pretty cool. I can't tell you how special it is to stand.
Now, one thing he's doing well is pausing and his pacing. He's not going real fast. He's delivering a line, and just kind of a slow rhythm and cadence to what he's speaking here. But he'll deliver a line, and when he's getting that audience reaction, that audience laughter, he's not continuing right on. He's not plowing through that. He's giving the audience a chance to respond, lets the laughter die down, and then he continues. So be aware of that as you're speaking, that you don't want to be rushing through when the audience is still laughing or responding to something that you had just said. Because if you continue on, one, you lose that moment and the power of that moment. But two, if he continues on while the audience is still laughing or clapping or responding in some way, the audience isn't going to hear the next thing that he says. So let the audience die down and then you continue.
And here on this stage at the Kennedy Center, in front of this amazing audience, while being watched on PBS by hundreds of people. It's very surreal. You have to understand, as a kid growing up in Irvine, California, where I would sit in my room and listen to records of Steve Martin and the original Saturday Night Live cast, or stay up late and watch Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show to see what comedians he would have on, I had one dream, one singular focus, even at the earliest age.
Now, I'm assuming that his setup here is leading to some type of punchline, and it has nothing to do with what we think it's going to be. So we've thought at this point, he stayed up, he watched Steve Martin, watched SNL, watched whoever had Johnny Carson had on, and so we were thinking something related to comedy, right? My singular dream, my singular focus was, boom, we're thinking it should be a comedian, right? Or should be doing something related to comedy, but it's probably gonna go a totally different direction here.
I can remember wanting to do one thing and one thing only: sell insurance. So to be standing here feels somewhat odd. Whether it was auto, home, or life, fire, flood, or earthquake, I just wanted to make people feel safe. Do you have enough inland marine insurance? Or business overhead expense disability insurance? These are the things I thought of as a kid. But the insurance game didn't happen for me, so I fell back on comedy. And here I am now. There's so many people I need to thank for helping me make tonight possible. First off, I would like to thank all the wonderful people who spoke or performed tonight on my behalf. An amazing lineup.
He also cued the audience there with what to do. So he, I want to thank these people. He starts applauding and it cues the audience. So that we should learn something from that. That the speaker, whoever's on stage there with the microphone, they're the ones that have the power of the room. Okay, now I don't mean this in like a dramatic way in any way, or in a misleading way where you're trying to manipulate the audience or something. But you're giving them cues on how they can respond. So whenever he starts kind of applauding, it gives the audience permission to this is the way that you could be responding. So so be aware of that. That as the speaker, you hold the power and the authority of that room.
All of you taking time out of your busy personal and professional schedules to be here means the world to me. And if any of you ever needs me to speak on your behalf for any reason, just know, and I sincerely mean this.
So again, this is building up to, hey, if anybody needs anything from me at any point, and I sincerely mean this, you would think the right thing, the correct thing to say would be, I'm always gonna be there for you. I appreciate you so much. I value you. And so this is a great, just again, opportunity to create comedy where you are going one direction, but the audience is going with you, and then you go a totally different direction at the last minute.
I am probably unavailable. But thank you. And I'm sorry ahead of time. One of the people you saw tonight to whom I owe a huge debt of gratitude is Mr. Adam McKay. Together, Adam and I have created Anchorman, Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, and The Other Guys, a Broadway show, and a comedy website. I would also not be standing here if it weren't for Saturday Night Live executive producer Lorne Michaels. Thank you, Lorne, for taking a chance on me and giving me the opportunity to be on Saturday Night Live, the show I always dreamed of being on.
Now, you can also tell he's reading from a teleprompter here, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So you notice he will kind of go to look to one side, and then he'll kind of come back and kind of go to a side and come back. And so he's coming back to get whatever that next line is there. But one of the things he's doing is he's not delivering it as if he's reading it, right? He is... it feels authentic, it feels genuine, it feels like something he probably pre-wrote and has gone over time and time again, but it's just there for something like this, like a key speech that he wants to get all the lines and wants to get all the points in there, so he's referring back to that. So again, this is a little bit of a different context than what most speakers would be in, but just understand that's kind of what he's doing and why he's doing that.
And finally, what makes tonight truly special is that I can share it with my family. I am so grateful to all of you guys for your continued support and love for the things that I do. But mostly, I would like to thank my lovely wife, Vivica. Before I do that, however, I should really thank my first and second wives, Donna and Julie. Donna, what can I say? We were just too young when we got married. I mean, literally too young. We were 13. Heck, you were 13. I was 9, you know. I was in the 3rd grade, and it wasn't right or legal, but I hope you're well, and I thank you for your support. As for Julie, you left me for Gary Busey, and I will never blame you for that, ever. Finally, Vivica, all I can say is thank you, and thank God I found you. You've given us 3 beautiful boys, and we have a wonderful life together. But I do have to say, sometimes you get a little lippy, okay? You got a big mouth, and you like to run it. And I'll tell you one thing, and one thing only, okay, tonight.
Now, he's also doing a good job of breaking up the bits with little pauses or little beats. So you got a big mouth and you like to run it. So he could just say you got a big mouth and you like to run it and just blend that together as one piece, but he breaks it up. You got a big mouth, laughter, pause, and you like to run it, laughter, pause, right? So breaking it up there at some of those natural moments stretches the humor out and stretches the joke out. So good job there.
Tonight is my night, all right? I love you, but I'm really sick of that big mouth of yours, okay? And I won't stand it, okay? Do you hear me? You look at me when I talk to you. I mean, tonight, after the show, if I want to go on a bender with Gwen Eiffel and buy a couple spear guns and try to scale the Washington Monument, I'm going to do it, okay? And there's nothing you can say to stop me. I love you. So once again, I thank you for this magnificent night and this amazing honor. And I want to thank the Kennedy Center for being one of the few places that upholds comedy as what it truly is, an art form. Thank you, and good night. Now you can play. Now you can play the music.
Good. It's a bit of a different type of context there, but still an amazing, amazing speech. A lot of things that we can learn there from Will Ferrell. All right, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that speech breakdown of Will Ferrell's talk. Will is one of the funniest guys around. And so if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button below. Don't forget to comment below. Let us know what are some of the humorous things that you learned from this talk that you can apply to your next presentation or speech. And then as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. We drop these videos every single week. We don't want you to miss out on them. All right, my friend? We'll catch you next time. You're awesome.